Welcome to the Strength Lab podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Ramsey, and I want to talk about the foundational movement patterns to help with lifting and with life. First off, I want to thank my sponsor for the podcast and as an athlete, Titan Nutrition. This is their new pre-workout Stim Rush. It's going to help with performance, it's going to help with brain function. It's in a very elite mind and body performance pre-workout. If you want to check them out, you can look up titannutrition.net, Ramsey/Tyler, and use code Ramsey Strength at checkout for 20% off. And if you order more than $99 worth of products, you get free shipping. So that's super awesome. Love to be partnered with them. I take all their products, protein, pre-workout, and a lot of their vitamins as well. So be sure to check those out. I will link everything down in the description. So now let's talk about the importance of foundational movement patterns. And these patterns are push, pull, squat, hinge, and carry. These are the backbone for all human movement. And it doesn't matter if you're an athlete, a strength competitor, you need to be doing these for the functions of life. These help with building strength, preventing injury, and overall performance. Let's start with push. There's two types of pushing movements. There's horizontal pushing, like bench press and push ups. And then there's more of a vertical pushing, which is overhead press. And why is this important? It's important because it builds upper body strength and pressing power. This includes the chest, shoulders, and triceps. It's essential for any athletic performance like throwing and punching. Improves functional movement like opening doors and lifting objects overhead. Common mistakes if you don't do these kinds of things is you have poor shoulder mobility, which leads to impingements in your shoulders, and you have over reliance on pressing muscles without balancing with pulling movements. So muscle imbalances cause a lot of issues. So we will go to the next foundational movement pattern, which is the pull. You also have horizontal and vertical pulls on this as well. So vertical pull would be more like a pull up or lat pull down. And then for more horizontal would be rows. And why is this important? It develops back and grip, essential for posture and injury prevention. So usually want to do a 1-to-1 ratio or possibly a 2-to-1 ratio of pulling compared to pushing. This strengthens the lats, traps, rhomboids, and biceps. It balances out, like I said before, it balances out the pushing movements and prevents shoulder injuries. Crucial for pulling objects, climbing, and overall structural integrity. A few mistakes you might find if you neglect rear delts and your scaps, you'll have a weak upper back and you'll have that rounding forward. So you want to kind of have a good posture, and that will help with the back muscles. Using momentum instead of a controlled movement is usually what a common thing you see in the gym. Really focus on squeezing and not just like jerking. The third foundational movement pattern is the squat. You have that in everyday life, squatting down to pick something up, picking up a kid, picking up groceries, bag of food, dog food off the ground. So you have back squat, front squat, and goblet squat. Those are just different squats that have the bar loaded in different positions related to your spine. Why is the squat important? Well, it's basically the foundation for any lower body strength and power. You're going to use your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings, and your core. So it's a great overall body movement. This transfers directly to real life movements like sitting, jumping, and just lifting, like the squat. It's essential for athleticism, joint health, and mobility. Common mistakes you might see in the squat or the knees caving in. That's a lack of glute activation. So you really want to focus on pushing those knees out as you squat down and maintaining that knee posture. Also, leaning too far forward is weak core. So you're not bracing good enough. So breathing into your diaphragm, into your belly, making that like you're kind of like pushing that out. You're not really trying to breathe into your chest and puff your chest up. You're really trying to push your stomach out and really engage your core. And that's kind of why you wear a belt. It does help your back, but it's really breathing into your diaphragm, pushing your stomach as hard as you can against your belt. And that helps with core activation. Also in the squat, you have high bar and low bar. High bar squat is going to work your quads more, having the bar up on your traps more. Uh, in the low bar position, it's going to be more hip dominant and glute dominant because you're going to have more of a wider stance typically to allow the lean forward of your upper body. And that uh, is usually used in a competition like powerlifting or strongman if they do end up having a squat event. The next foundational movement pattern would be the hinge. And this is like the deadlift, Romanian deadlift, or kind of like a kettlebell swing. Uh, and why are this important? It's the most functional strength movement. It's basically picking things up off the ground. It develops the posterior chain muscles like the glutes, hamstrings, and lower back. That's why it's so important. Most people end up hurting lower back. So doing these movements, starting light, progressively overloading those movements really helps carry over to life. It's key for explosive movements like sprinting, jumping, and Olympic lifting. So athletes should be doing deadlifts. There's all sorts of deadlifts. They could do conventional, sumo, trap bar. It reduces the risk of lower back injuries by teaching the proper mechanics of the deadlift. Common mistakes you might see in the deadlift, typically in the conventional, is they're relying on the lower back instead of the hips. So the hips kind of shoot up first, and that's because the bar is too or as far away from your shins, and the only way for your body to do that is your hips kick up and the bar moves closer to your shins, and then you have to use your lower back to lift the weight. Um, Another issue could be a limited hinge pattern, which could be poor hamstring flexibility. So working on hamstring flexibility under load and just uh, stretching. The last foundational movement pattern would be the carry. A lot of people leave this one out. A lot of studies have been shown that farmer carries in grip strength shows the related to age that if your grip is better, you should be able to live a little longer because you're able to grab things if you're falling and stuff like that. So grip strength is super important. This could be farmer's carries, suitcase carries, which is like a single arm carry, working your core more and more of an upright posture, and also the sandbag carry. Why is this important? It's probably the most underrated but one of the most functional movements. It builds core stability, grip strength, and total body endurance. And it improves shoulder stability and posture control because you can't carry anything loaded over. So you have to have a good upright posture, and then carrying the weight here or with dumbbells or farmer carries at your side. This is probably the most real life application exercise, like carrying groceries, luggage, or just heavy objects that you would in everyday life. Um, Common mistakes you might see with this is running or rushing through the carries instead of slow, controlled steps, making that time under tension longer. Also, weak grip limiting your performance. You need to train grip strength separately, but this also will help if you do farmer carries and stuff like that, will help your grip. Why are these patterns essential for strength training and longevity? They transfer to everyday life. Whether you're lifting, pulling, or squatting down, these movement patterns are going to help keep you functional. They develop balance strength, so you have no imbalances that leads to injuries. Finally, they are all foundation of all training. So master these, and every other gym movement will improve. Here's a little tip at the end. A well-structured program with all 5 of these will help you with serious strength, athleticism, and injury prevention. If you're interested in how to do all these, you can reach out to me at ramseystrengthcoach@gmail.com, and we can set up a program for you. Thanks for listening. Thanks to the sponsor, Titan Nutrition. I'll catch you next time with another episode. Thanks. Bye.